Hello, welcome to the Asian Dating Podcast. Today I have a very special guest, which many of you might know him, Louie Felix. He is the COO of Agape Match and the former CEO of Elite Matchmaking. He has worked in the matchmaking industry for over 20 years. He's helped dating industry professionals optimize their sales strategies, and he is a good friend and someone I really respect in the industry. I've known you for a long time, Louie.
Yep.
So welcome to the
Yeah.
show.
I'm so excited to be here, May. I love you so much. You're so amazing, and I'm so honored to be here.
Thank you.
Truthfully.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you. I mean, when I just read your bio, it did say that you help a lot of the people in our matchmaking and dating industry with their businesses. So,
Right.
what would you say your biggest strength is that you bring to the table when you speak at the matchmaking conferences and when you do your job as a COO? Like,
Mhm.
what is your biggest strength in this world?
Man, I think I've had to learn to figure out this strength, if I'm being honest about it. Ethics, when it comes surrounding ethics in this industry is a really, really difficult thing to balance. Because, if you think about it, at the end of the day, you're running a matchmaking business, right? But what's the key word? Business, right? So you're trying to balance running a business, but you need to balance running that business with, being able to service your clients. And oh, sorry, now my dog is back there. Being able to service your clients and ethically match them and not overpromise and deliver. So I think ethics is probably something that I pride myself on at this stage personally.
Yeah.
Uh, it's really important to me.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, there are a lot of shady matchmakers that I've come to know, meet, who started in our business. But guess what? They're not around anymore because you can't survive
Right.
in this industry if you're not a good matchmaker, if you're not providing top-notch service to people. So I feel like I meet a lot of new matchmakers and I wonder if they're going to be around in the next year, 3 years,
Right.
5 years. And
But May,
you've been
they're
around.
always going, yeah, but they're always going to exist because you
Right.
have big venture VC firms, venture capitalist firms that are investing money in these, big national companies. And I won't mention any names, of course, but they still exist and they take everybody. And it's frustrating. So you just have to be really careful who you're working with, do your due diligence, research Google, do all the things that you should be doing when it comes to selecting who you think is the best fit for you. Always go with your gut. That's what I say.
When you say do your due diligence, what do you suggest for people out there who are looking to hire a matchmaker? How do they do the background research on somebody?
I mean, Google is so powerful now. I think everybody runs to Google, everybody runs to Yelp. So there's a lot of these, companies have set up, various ways for people to articulate their experience, post their experiences. And um, that's probably the first and foremost, the easiest way to research a company. Um, Yeah, that's tough. I mean, ultimately, you just have to ask really good questions and maybe ask for a preview of actual people that you may maybe starting point options for profiles of people that you may be meeting. If you hired them, you can always ask for a referral. Most high-end matchmakers or professional matchmakers won't provide one just because, there's confidentiality and privacy, and it's always really difficult to go back to one of your clients and say, hey, can you help me bring on a new client? Will you talk to them and talk to them about your experience? So you've been doing this so long, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's tough. I have a lot of clients that don't want to disclose their personal information to anyone, so it kind of puts us in a difficult position.
Do you recommend that new clients potentially look at someone's Better Business Bureau reviews, or is
Yeah,
that even a
I
thing
haven't heard that
anymore?
word in such a long
Yeah.
time. Better Business Bureau. I actually just had a call with a prospective client who mentioned the Better Business Bureau, and he researched every company through the Better Business Bureau. So it's so funny you're bringing this up because I haven't heard that in like 5 years,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah.
Because the Better Business Bureau, what people don't know is it's a business. I
Right.
mean, it's not like a government run agency. So we had a lot of problems when I ran Elite Matchmaking. Of course, that was a huge national company. You know, we had 20 locations nationally, we had 20,000 clients, and there was a lot of complaints about Elite Matchmaking, of course.
Right.
But what people didn't think about was we actually ran a really good company because, you know, I think we had a total of like 70 complaints filed against Elite Matchmaking publicly, like on Google or Yelp or whatever it was. But we had 20,000 active clients. So, I mean, when you do the numbers, it's really not a statistic if you think about it, right? But you know, it is what it is, and we had a bad reputation for that. But we did run as, you know, ethically sound of a business as we could.
So,
Yeah.
what are some things that you feel like you run your business now ethically sound? Like, what are some extra steps you guys take
Oh
to make
gosh.
sure you're taking the right person on and
Mhm.
feeling like you're going to match him or her?
Such a great question, and that's probably why I love what I do today compared to 10 years ago. I do these, it's $50 for a dating strategy call with me. And you know, we do it, it's with Agape Match. You just go to Agape Match, and we don't take women as clients, right? We only take men. So men pay and women can register for free in our database. But with that said, we offer a strategy call, which is so amazing. So we really do break down, well, I break down what they're currently doing, what they've done in the past, where they see themselves in the next 3 to 6 months, and you know, what's worked for them, what hasn't worked for them. But ultimately, what I'm going to do is create a brand new strategy for you, that's going to set you up to be successful. And it's utilizing the online dating sites and the apps, right? Or utilizing meeting people organically or creating strategies surrounding those things. So it's not always like working with a matchmaker or spending 20, 30, 40, $50,000 to a matchmaker, when I think I can teach you how to do it yourself by creating a new strategy. So I think that's what's really amazing, about, you know, running something that's more ethical. It's it's about doing what's best for each person that I'm speaking with. It's not about selling them something, if that makes sense. I also do these 1 hour dating assessment calls, and that's $300. So you think like, wow, that's a lot of money. But what you get from that assessment call is almost figuring out why you're single, why you want what you want, why you're picking who you're picking, and then it includes a much more in-depth strategy, because it's a longer call, which always run an hour and a half. They never just run an hour. And I don't charge you more, of course. And, you know, I always do it to really set you up on the right path. And you know what, May, sometimes I do refer them to a matchmaker because maybe that is what's best for them.
Is this a strategy call for men and women or just women?
I have had men book a strategy call with me. It's pretty rare, that a man would book a strategy call with me. It's predominantly women, and it's because, you know, like you, I think you take men as clients, right?
Yes. Men are
Yeah,
the paid clients, then women join
right.
my database for free on twoasianmatchmakers.com. So yeah, I
Yeah,
only
I
take
love
on
that.
men as paying clients.
It's really an amazing business model, and I think it works great. And I think every woman who's watching this should register into either May's database or Agape's database, because, you know, you never know.
Yeah.
It doesn't cost you anything. It's totally free. There's no catch. There's no gimmick.
Right.
Um, yeah, it's really a great option for women.
So the people who come to you for the strategy call and get a plan for their dating, the $300 thing that they do they then become your date coaching client or no?
Oh gosh, yeah, so many of them want to continue working with me. You know, but you know, that's not the intention. The intention isn't to like, oh, let's get this $300 appointment and then let's get them to keep paying me.
Right.
That's not at all the intention. The idea behind it is do this call, let's create a strategy and figure out, try to get to the core of why you're single, right? Why you haven't met this person. And then I want you to try out, like, I'll give you different challenges sometimes. I'll say, I'm going to give you a 5 date challenge, and then call me or email me after you've done it and let me know the outcome. Do you know what, May? This is what's so awesome about this. Every week I get an email from someone from like 6 months ago or 3 months ago, a year ago, because I've been doing this for quite some time now, telling me that it worked and they're in a relationship and they did everything I said to do. And that is why I do this, is because it's so rewarding to get those emails. I can't even tell you. It's just so fulfilling for me with what I do for a living. You want to love what you do, but you also want to feel like what you're doing is impacting someone in some way.
So
And
what's a sample strategy that you'll put someone on? Like just make up a vague person and just a quick run through.
I really do break down everything. I break down what sites they're on, sites they've tried. I break down the type of person they're looking for, why they're looking for this type of person. Is that, sometimes who you think you should be with doesn't necessarily equate to who you should actually be with. And so challenging people on those age range challenges. One of the big components is understanding how they're maneuvering on the online dating sites and the apps and really breaking down the specifics surrounding that. So what are your age range parameters? What is the location parameters? What are religious parameters, or potentially height? As you know, height's always a big issue, right? And it's really just working with people to get them to the real, more of a realistic perspective of who they see themselves with, combined with tweaking and changing not only the sites they're using potentially, but the buttons they're pushing on those sites. Because I don't think people realize, they probably realize it, but I don't think they think about the fact that this is an algorithm. Like, it's not somebody that's actually like, oh, they wanted all these things, let me try this person. It's literally a computer, and the more buttons you push, I mean, the fewer options you're going to have. And if you're in a major metropolitan city like New York or Los Angeles, you're literally pushing one button will eliminate probably hundreds of thousands of potential options. Really. Yeah. I mean, every button you push, think of it that way. Yeah.
So what has been like a success story of someone who's done your strategy call and they come back and said, oh my gosh, I ended up being with this person, I totally didn't think about it? Like, was there a success story you can talk about?
And I literally just got an email this week or last week from a woman who said, I'm so sorry, I haven't emailed you. I did the assessment call with you a year ago. It'd been a year. And she said that she met him, and I can even tell you the specifics. So she was a special education teacher. And she ultimately ended up meeting another special education teacher through the strategy that I gave her, and they connected, and within 3 months they were committed to each other, and they're still together today. And she just hadn't had the opportunity to contact me and let me know that it worked.
Yeah.
So ultimately that was really great to see. Yeah.
I mean, knowing what you know now, Louie, as a matchmaker, date coach, don't you feel like it is pretty easy to find somebody if you really open up and you focus on it and you try to get some help from somebody just to get a second or third opinion? Like, do you feel like dating shouldn't be as hard as everybody makes it out to be? Like TV makes it out to be hard, books make it out to be hard, movies make it sound like it sucks. Like, don't you think dating could be a lot easier?
When I hear this, I wrote a chapter in a book. A bunch of experts collaborated and wrote a book, right? So my chapter was Date Like It's 1934. I think that's what it was. And when you think about it, like it's, I don't know. I think people want what they want, right? When it comes to the relationship that they want to see themselves in. And I think people sometimes forget that it's a partnership. There's two people in this equation, and you're only half of that equation, right? So who you're looking to meet is the other half. And if you're expecting the other half to meet what you think you want, it's never, ever going to happen. So I love to ask people, like, what's the percentage? What's your number? And when I ask what their number is, I said, so out of 100%. So if you can meet somebody who's 100% of what you're looking for, he's perfect or she's perfect, what are you going to be happy with? Like, so the 100% doesn't exist, right? So are you looking for a 90% of what you're looking for? Are you looking for 80? Are you looking for 70? Like, what's your number, right? And so you would be shocked how many people say 85, 90%. If I can meet somebody who's 90% of what I'm looking for, then that's the person I want to be with. And that person doesn't exist. My realistic response is, if you can find somebody who's 51% of what you're looking for, you should keep that person, right? Because then it's just above half of what you want, right? Because you're never going to have perfection. So I don't know. People like get really upset when I say that, but ultimately, what's realistic? I don't know. You have to just remember that relationships are hard. There's good times, there's bad times. You have to work through them. You have to compromise. You have to give, but you also have to have somebody reciprocate those things for you because, sometimes you might find yourself in a relationship where you're giving, 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 and they're just taking, 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 taking. So it is tough. I know I'm giving you a long-winded answer about this, but ultimately, I think if you just give more people a chance, and one of my big dating strategies that I give people, like if I give them a challenge, I give them a 5-date challenge. And the 5-date challenge would be, I challenge you to go out with 5 people who look good on paper. You're just not attracted to them at all. Right?
Yeah.
So once you've done that, let me know what happened. And it works. People really force themselves to go out with someone that they are not attracted to, and then they meet in person and they actually look better in person than they did in the photo.
I love that. I love how it could be a challenge and that you're making them do this. So they're doing it because, oh, Louie told me to do it, so I'll do it. And it's like, that's probably a strategy that their mom and dad told them to do, right? Like, don't be so focused on looks. But at the same time, they're like, okay, I remember having this conversation with Louie. I'm going to go out with these 5 people that look great on paper and not who I'm attracted to. But I feel like everybody looks better in person. Everybody, okay, not everybody. Let's say 80% of the people that you meet online look better in person in 3D,
Right.
not 1D.
Right.
So I
Right.
totally get that. And I agree. Your 51%, that seems really low, even to
Right.
me. I tell my
Right.
clients, hey, if he meets everything you're looking for 75% on paper, then just go out. It's not an arranged marriage. It's just a date. Like if
Right.
you can't have a 60-minute, 90-minute conversation with a stranger, you probably shouldn't be dating. You probably should
Right.
not be dating if you can't even be charming for 60 minutes or 90 minutes. But I like
Mhm.
your 51%
Yep.
philosophy. I will now implement that with my clients and I'll see
Yeah.
what results I get. So,
Well, the 51% is really it's an extreme example of not finding your 100%, right? So like if they're 51%, it just challenges people. Like maybe they meet somebody who's 60% or 70%. At least they're not continuously following that mindset of there's somebody out there that's 90% of what I want and I need to find that person. So it's a dramatic and impactful number, but rules were meant to be broken, right? Maria has a 12-date rule at Agape, and people try to follow that 12-date rule, but they rarely do. So
tell me
I don't
tell me
know.
about the 12 date rule.
Oh gosh. It's been so amazing, that 12-date rule. Maria's just gotten a lot of attention with that. But it's basically you don't sleep with anybody until you've gone on 12 dates with them.
Yeah,
It's pretty simple.
right.
But it's not actual like face-to-face dates, like texting, or no, texting not really. But if you have a conversation with somebody on the phone for like 30 minutes, 40 minutes, whatever it is, I don't know the specifics. You can't quote me on this now. I'm probably gonna get a lot of emails like you didn't do it right. Um, but there's just rules. So Google it. Google 12-date
Okay.
rule and try it out. But we get
Okay.
emails every single day. Every day we get emails that it worked and they're in a relationship because they followed that 12-date rule.
Yeah. Yeah. So, knowing what you know about your partner and knowing what I know about my partner, my husband, he didn't meet 75% of what I'm looking for. I don't even
Mhm.
think he met 65% of what I'm looking for. I think I would marry a smoker? No, I'm not telling you go and date
Yeah.
smokers. And, I did not think I would marry someone younger. I did not think I would marry someone who's in manual labor. He's not a professional. He's not a busy professional like what I've been doing my whole life. So, and he's not Asian, he's not what I thought he'd be. And I thought we would have 2 kids by the age of 25. And yes, we did not have 2 kids. We don't have any kids, and I hate cats, but yet we have 3 freaking cats. So you
Uh,
just don't
yeah.
know who you're going to end up with, I guess, is kind of what I'm saying. But yeah. So anyway, with your dating strategy calls and your experience with this industry for all these years, what would you say are 3 things that you wish you would tell your niece or your sister, if you had a younger sister, about dating that would arm them with the best information going out there in the dating world?
I mean, when I think about my niece who's graduating college this year from UC San Diego, Madison, hello, you are 21 years old, turning 22. So that's a tough one because, they're so young. So I think someone's age has a lot to do with the advice that you give, right? So for someone like Madison, I'm going to say, take your time. There's no rush. Figure out who you are, what you want, try to get a stable job. It also depends if they're a male or female, right? I mean, so like that's a tough question to answer to give just three generic advice.
Okay, three dating tips for Madison in her 20s.
I mean, explore. That's first and foremost, explore. I think for a lot of people, like if you were raised Jewish or if you were raised in a Latino household or maybe even the Asian household, relationships are so important. And I think what a lot of people don't understand, and this is super, super common, for those people that I mentioned, you don't know how to date. You're raised to believe that you need to be in a relationship. And so you just meet someone that's just fun to be with and you like them just enough, and then that just turns into a relationship. And I think you do need to date. You need to figure out how to date maybe even two or three people at the same time, not sleep with two or three people at the same time, but just date. My advice would be look at dating. Like, I think people look at dating too seriously. Like they're looking at it like, is this going to be my husband or is this going to be my wife? Is this somebody I can see myself with long term? And that's not how dating works. You have to date just to see if you can get along with this person. Like, what is this person like? I'm a big fan of, 7 or 8 dates with somebody in different settings, right? So I like when people go to a bar on a first date. A lot of people don't like that, right? Well, my reason why I like it is because you want to see how much that person drinks, right? So put them in a setting. So if you don't want a big drinker, go to a bar and see how much they drink. So little things like this, I guess, are important. I also think that you need to meet people. So people are spending way too much time on these online dating sites and these apps, and they're just swiping, or they might send a message, hi, how's your day going? And then you never hear back from anybody. And that's the biggest frustration I hear from people every single day, that I have these calls every single day, and this is what I hear. So, I've created a lot of new strategies for people to change the outcome of their online dating. And part of that is setting up your dates right away. Stop talking. Talking is not dating. You need to meet people face to face. So I don't know. I don't know if I gave you 3, but there's just so many. There's so much. And something that I really pride myself on also is I try not to say the same thing to every single person that I speak with. I really want to get a really good in-depth understanding of where they've been, what they're currently doing, and where they see themselves in the next 3 to 6 months, and then create a strategy that's really just for them. Yeah. And I love that. So that's why I'm not a big fan of relationship books. Yeah. I'm not a big fan of books. I'm not a big fan of like advice that you see like on the internet, just because that advice and those books are written to cater to the masses, right? And it does help a lot of people. So I'm not saying anything, bad about it. I just feel like if you've been single for a long time, there's a reason why you're single. I believe that there's rhyme or reason why somebody's single. It's not just because there's no quality people out there.
Yeah, right? When people say that there aren't any great guys out there, there aren't any great women out there, that's all false. That I feel like there are so many great people out there. You just have to open up and give them a chance. And I know that sounds like a generic piece of advice, but I love how your specific strategy calls would give them more honed in advice that they can actually take and see themselves taking it and doing it. So yeah, I feel like everybody or anybody who's been in a rut or has a bad attitude about dating, or just feel like there's nobody great out there, they should just reach out and get some help with a online dating coach, with a matchmaker, with a strategy session, with even like your best friend's mom who's been happily married for 20, 30 years. Like, get some great advice from great people. Don't go getting advice from your single friends who want to sabotage you. I just don't believe in getting advice from single people. Like they just want you to be single with them. They're not going to give you the best advice because they don't know. They just don't
Right.
know.
Or
Yeah.
they don't want to tell you. They don't want to tell you the truth. They don't want to tell you that your expectations are unrealistic and you're never going to meet anybody,
Yeah.
right? Because they're your friends or they're your family. So they're protecting your feelings.
Right.
So there's that, so it's maybe it's not their fault. Maybe it's not that they don't want to, tell them what to do to help them find someone. They don't want to tell them why they're single because they don't want to hurt their feelings.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. See
So
that every single day. But
how
something
did,
else that I think is really important for singles, especially if you've been single for a long time, I think you have to like sit down one day and release yourself of your past. I think you have to forgive yourself, forgive those that hurt you. I think you just have to like, and this is a mindset thing. I firmly believe, and I think therapy is great and people should go to therapy and they should talk this out with a therapist. But if you can't afford a therapist, I think you just have to come to terms with what happened, and you can't change it. But what you can change is your mindset moving forward. Energy is everything. I've been in this industry for almost 20 years, and I've been in it long enough to know that what you believe is what is true. So, I know that people talk about The Secret and the power of manifestation, and some people believe in it, some people don't believe in it. I firmly believe in it, right? Because if you keep saying there's no good men out there, there's no good men out there. That's what you're receiving because you keep saying it and you believe that there's no good men out there. So even if you met a good man, you wouldn't see it if he was standing right in front of you.
yeah.
I believe that most people have swiped past their husband or wife 3 or 4 times over. They just didn't see it.
Yeah.
I
No.
firmly believe that. So positive energy reaps positive results.
Yeah.
Start looking at, just release yourself of your past, and then wake up one morning and say, today's a fresh new day. I'm going to look at things from a different perspective, and it's going to be a very positive perspective. And I bet you anything, the outcome will change.
But again, that is something that you can read books about, you can go to seminars, you can Google on YouTube. How do I change my mindset? How do I be more positive? Like the more stuff you listen to, watch videos and
Right.
hang out with a positive person, all that
Yeah.
stuff helps. I totally agree with that, Louie. I think that your mindset is
But
huge.
yeah,
Yeah.
but the difference is when you're speaking to someone like you or speaking to someone like me, and we tell you this, if this were a dating strategy call or an assessment call, I'm specifically talking about what you've done in your past. And then I'm specifically giving you a strategy moving forward that's a fresh new perspective, right? So when you release yourself of your past, the new strategy that we give you is going to be implemented with a different mindset, with a more positive mindset. So I agree with you. And that's probably one of the biggest problems I have. I don't know if problems or challenges that I have with a lot of these books that you'll read is they'll tell you what to do, but they don't give you the necessary tools to help implement the change.
Right.
Right. Because they're speaking to the masses.
Right. Right.
They're not speaking to you. I'm speaking to you about you. Right. It's a very different outcome.
Yeah. But it's a good start for them to want to have a different mindset, want to talk to someone like you and to make change. And I guess even scheduling a call with you is a huge first step for them to say, you know what, I want some help. I want some help in this area of my life because I'm an accountant. I'm a very, very well-known attorney. I do all these great things in my life and everything's going well except for this one little part in their lives.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong with asking for help. I feel like it's a way of you cutting a check and getting there, a quicker shortcut, right? Like just to get results instantly. So yeah, I love asking for help. I'm definitely not afraid of that. But I think a lot of men are not very open to asking for help, right? Like women are more open with that part of their lives and they see their friends getting help or asking for help. And I feel like men have a tougher time saying, you know what, I need help in this area. So
yeah. What's the first thing I thought about when you said that, which is really funny, is the man who's driving somewhere and refuses to stop and ask for directions, right? So like they don't want help. They'll figure it out. We don't want help. We'll figure it out. But I always remind women, and I'm probably going to get a lot of backlash from men by saying this, but I think it's so true. I tell women that you have to remember that men, I don't care how evolved a man looks, how well traveled he looks, how educated he looks, we're like cavemen. We're very basic creatures, you know, at the end of the day. So, that's why we love women who take care of us because our mothers took care of us, right? And so that's why we love nurturing women. And we have really powerful women now that have great careers and big jobs that, don't feel that they should have to take care of a man. The man should take care of them. And that's true. But at the end of the day, I'm so sorry for my dog. At the end of the day, I don't know. There's just something about we're like big babies, right? We're like cavemen. Hungry, eat, tired, sleep, horny, sex. That's men. We're very basic at the end of the day. So I don't know. Maybe again, I'm getting a backlash for this, but we love feminine women who, nurture us and take care of us. How many women remember when, if you were in a relationship when your partner got sick? So a woman gets sick and she's like, I'm gonna like still feed my kids, take care of the family, and go to work. She goes to work, she does all this stuff, and then a man gets sick, and we're just like in bed for 3 days, crying and like moaning and like, oh, get me some soup. Like that's the best example I can give you. And I don't know, it still exists. I
Oh
mean,
no,
I don't care
I
how
completely agree. When my husband gets sick, I want to take care of him. I want to nurture him, make him food, make him soup. And I do that
yeah,
every
me
day.
too. Guilty. I
Yeah,
do the same
yeah.
way.
And it's fine. It's like
Yeah.
that's what they need and that's what they appreciate and that's what they want. And yeah, I don't feel like there's anything wrong with a career woman that still wants to nurture her boyfriend, husband. Like it's those
Well,
things are
that's the
always
thing though,
appreciated.
Meg. It's the other way. It's the career women that don't think they should have to do that.
Right.
Right. And there's truth to that. I'm not saying that it's a bad thing. I think that absolutely men should step up and, cater to their wives or their girlfriends' needs, right? Um, I just don't know that we have the wherewithal completely to do
Yeah.
that, or the majority of men, right? There's a lot of men out there who do that, but yeah.
Well, as an Asian woman, I still very much so do my husband's laundry. I cook for him. I do all the shopping. I do all the cleaning. I don't have a cleaning lady anymore. So I do all that. And yes, when he's sick, I want to take care of him. And I don't,
Right.
yeah, I've had backlash from my girlfriends. They're like, wait, you do his laundry? Like, yeah, I do his laundry. I don't care. He appreciates it. And I've seen my mom do it for my dad. So it's
Yeah.
all what I've learned and what I've grown up doing. And so, yeah, I don't find that a turnoff at all. It doesn't make me less of a woman by not doing some of those things for
Right.
him. So, yeah. Okay. So, what else about your job or your industry that you find puzzling? Like, what is something that you're finding that I can't believe men still do this? I can't believe women still do this. Like, is there something that you wanted to bring up that we might be
Us.
able to help the listeners out there?
I can't believe men still do this. Yeah, I can't believe men that are I have a prospective client who's 38 who wants to meet 21-year-old women. I can't believe men still want to meet women that are too young. Like, doesn't make sense to me. I can't believe women still want to meet men that are 6 feet or taller only. I can't believe women only want to meet men, want to meet men 5 years younger and 5 years older, right? Go up to a minimum of 10. And if it's my client, I'm going to push you to 12 years older. You're not going to like working with me, right? But I'm trying to set you up with your husband, the father of your children. So, yeah, I mean, I guess I can go on and on about I can't believe, right? That's good. You should do that on every podcast episode. You should
Yeah.
say, "Give me all your I can't believes,"
Yeah.
because
Give
that's
me
pretty
more.
funny.
Give me more. What are some
And
other
there's not a
things
big.
you can't believe about men and women
I
out
can't believe that, sometimes I still can't believe that, specific ethnicities only want to meet specific ethnicities. That's, I mean, I get it, I guess, but it's not realistic. I just can't believe that we're still at a place where you can't look at the person. Like, who are you meeting? What do they represent? What have they done with their life? And how are they going to fulfill your life? Right. And the color of their skin doesn't really dictate, you know, whether you can have a successful relationship or long lasting or longevity with somebody or raise kids with that person. So I don't know. These things are just, but I understand it, right? So some men prefer Asian women. I get it. And I get those every day. I get men like this every day. Some men prefer Caucasian. Um, some African American women won't date African American men, and some African American women only want to meet African American men. So I mean, we you've heard it all just like I have, right? Yeah.
So, what are some indicators that will make a successful union between two people? You mentioned that some of the things you can't believe because that's not even important.
Yeah.
But what are some core things that you believe will make a successful relationship between two people?
I mean, that takes time to happen. And I think that's probably one of the main reasons why a lot of people are not in relationships is they're not investing the time in someone to get to know, how are you ever going to trust somebody if you've only gone on one date with them and you're not going to call them back, right? So, trust, of course, all the core, you know, deep-rooted compatibility, core values, personality traits, family background, religion, spirituality. So all the fundamental core foundation elements are part of what's going to make a relationship last. Making sure you're on the same page. Your relationship goals are super important. So if you're looking to have kids and he's not, and you think you can change his mind, don't do it. Move on, find somebody else, stuff like that.
So, what if we started a matchmaking company that only matches on those core things and not weight, not height, not ethnicity, but just those things? Like, we don't even show them photos. Like, would that even be a matchmaking agency's mission statement? Can it work? Would people
Yeah,
give us enough of their trust to know that we'll just match them with a person that's kind of like their same attractiveness level, same
right.
type stylish level?
Yeah, I think listen, those companies exist today. You have matchmaking companies that don't show photos, right? So they do exist. I don't know that they're as successful as companies that do show photos because as a man, I can tell you, I'm going to want to see what I'm getting. Who am I meeting?
Right.
I might trust you once, maybe twice if you're lucky, but if I show up and I'm not attracted to them, then I'm probably not going to trust you anymore. So I don't know how those companies can maintain clients for a long period of time, because I'm sure that they're not hitting the ball out of the park in one pitch with every single match, right? Um, but I don't know. I think that you just need to look at what you really want in your life and the type of relationship that you're looking for. And I think you need to give people more of a chance. You should look at the first 3 dates should just be activity dating. I don't think you should ever just go have a coffee or go have a drink and be in an interview type setting. The first 3 dates should always be an activity. And I think that's probably, and then during those first 3 dates, I firmly believe that you should just see if you get along. That's it. Like, do you have fun with each other? Can you talk? Is it easy? I don't think you should be talking about, when was your last relationship or, what type of relationship are you looking for? Or do you want to have children? No. First 3 dates, and that's a lot of dates. That's a lot of time. But I think if you can invest in that person for 3 dates, and clearly if you had fun on your first date and you go on the second date, there's something working, or you wouldn't go on that second date. So I don't know that it's a waste of time, really. It's investing in someone that's a potential. It's an option for you, maybe. But if you go into the first 3 dates this way, I think it sets you up that maybe on your fourth date you have like more of an intimate dinner and you're more comfortable with each other and you can really see what he or she's going to be like at that point because you spent 3 days doing things. And it could be horseback riding, it could be, go-kart racing, it could be miniature golf, it could be anything. But settings ping pong, so you can go to a bar but play ping pong, you can go to a bar but play darts. Go to a
Do
game night
you
at a bar. They have game nights now.
do you recommend your dates go on activity dates? Because getting drinks is so easy, or maybe getting an afternoon coffee or lunch or dinner because they have to eat anyway. So, I mean, I know I send out on my clients on those dates, but I don't really recommend an activity date because it seems like it's quite a chore for the man to come up with an activity. But you're saying, hey, if you're going to the bar, play darts, or shoot pool and get to
Yeah.
know each other that way, and kind of combine the two of getting drinks and,
Yeah,
you know, bowling.
the mindset behind it is a more relaxed setting, a more like casual fun setting. Like imagine playing ping pong, okay? And you just met someone and you guys go play ping pong. So you're going to have a stronger potential bonding experience playing a game, um, or go to a trivia night. I think
Mhm.
that's the best thing you can do, because then you're working with each other. You're thinking, you're laughing, you're like, oh my God, what was that TV show? It's the blonde lady, the one that, laughed, had the funny laugh. No, she had dark hair and she laughed, ha ha. Oh, Fran Drescher. Yeah, okay. And you're laughing and it's fun, right? And you're gonna like each other by the end of that first date, 9 times out of 10,
But what
because
if
it's
you're
just a
not good
fun
at
setting.
trivia and you're like, oh, he's gonna think I'm an idiot because I don't know any of these trivia
Then you should
answers.
accentuate that. I'm not smart. I'm doing this, but I'm probably not. We're gonna lose. Um,
But we're
you
gonna
know,
have fun
yeah, but we're gonna have fun.
and learn about each other.
I'll do my best and laugh about it. Like it's
Right,
not a big deal. Stop caring so much.
right.
Like listen, I live by one rule. The more you have to lose, the less risk you're gonna take. So if you have nothing to lose, then you risk it all. You
Yeah,
have nothing to lose on these dates. Have fun, risk it all. If you don't go on a second date, who cares? You
right.
had a good time, you met somebody new, and maybe he's a good match for your sister. I
Yeah.
don't know. So, but, stop caring so much about these first, second, third dates. Like, just have fun, have zero expectation, and, maybe start to build that expectation on date 4, 5, 6,
Yeah.
right? But just relax.
Yeah. I like that. I like that
Not as
because
stressful.
when you're meeting platonic friends, you're not just going out for a coffee, lunch, and dinner as your three
Right.
dates with this new friend that you made, right? You're like, oh, let's go for a run, or hey, meet me and let's go watch this band play, or,
Mhm.
whatever it may be. So, yeah, I guess my I can't believe is I can't believe you're not giving this guy or girl at least 3 dates when he looked great on paper or she looked great
Right.
on paper. Like, I can't believe people don't take the time and give people at least 3 chances to see if they're going to be a good mother to your kid or be a good
Do you know
wife
why they do
or
that? I
whatever.
can tell you exactly why they do that.
They don't want to
Because
waste time.
on that first date, they can already tell if they can see themselves with that person.
Right, right, right.
They're thinking about marriage.
Yeah,
So I sometimes I'll tell them, this isn't everybody, but sometimes depending on how people date, sometimes people will actually go on their first date, get engaged, get married, and get divorced all in the same night.
yeah,
Right. So that's kind of an extreme example, but that's what
right.
people do.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. The other thing people do is you can go on a first date and get home, and there could be 10 things that you love about them and 3 things that you're not sure about. And those 3 things will outweigh those 10 things,
yeah, yeah.
right? Think about it.
And they're probably going to work the next day talking to their single girlfriend about that date. And the single girlfriend's going to focus on those 3 negative
Yep.
things. And it's going to be, then they make the decision together
Yep.
that they're not going to go on a second date. Right. So again, my I can't believe is I can't believe quality single people are getting advice from their single friends. Like, that is just ridiculous in my mind.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, Louie, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it. I feel like I could just talk to you forever,
I
but
know. I can't even believe it's done. I thought we were just getting started.
yeah, right,
Yeah.
right. But for those ladies out there who's looking for a great guy, Agape Match, Two Asian Matchmakers, we're always looking for quality Asian women for our database. Agape's always looking for quality women as well. You can find me at twoasianmatchmakers.com. Please register, fill out a profile with me. I would love to meet you and set you up with someone great. And Louie, before we go, how would people find you? Of course, I would include all of your information as
Yeah.
well, but just tell us briefly
Yeah.
about, your business and all that good stuff.
Yeah, so Agape Match, we're based in New York City. So if you're in New York, that's probably better. For Agape, it's just agapematch.com, AGAPE match.com. And then if you're a woman, just select that you're a woman and you'd like to register into the free database. And if you're a man, then you just select you're a man and you'd like, to schedule a call with me. You can also schedule dating assessments and strategy calls through that website. What we didn't talk about is I have my own boutique matchmaking firm as well, based out of California, Southern California. It's matchmakingvip.com. And I only work with 3 or 4 clients at a time, and I'm a specialist in California. So I don't take clients in other states. I really look for California clients looking to meet California matches. So that's my personal business that I still run very part-time, and that's why I only take 3 or 4 clients. And you can find me on Instagram. It's just Louie Felix, LOUIEFELIX, and or Facebook, I guess. But Instagram is pretty much the best way to go. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you, Louie, for your time. I appreciate it. And hopefully you listeners out there got something out of it. And I'll see you next time. Bye.
Thanks, May. Bye.